Hey, hey, so welcome to the Authentic Creative, expanding our capacity to feel good. I am so delighted to be here. One of my absolutely favorite things is being here on this podcast and having unexpected things happen that we just get to have fun with. And today is a day of unexpected things happening. I will just say we've been talking about puppies and dogs and all sorts of unexpected things and cameras doing weird things and all of that. So life is lifing, and here we are. I am here with three absolutely incredible humans, goddesses, Reiki practitioners, second degree Reiki practitioners, Sierra Sophia Mercier, Tangelia Rouse, or as I call her, Tange, Dana Schmidt. They all have taken my first and second degree Reiki certification class slash retreat immersion recently. We're just gathered here, but we're going to drop in first with you, listener, and we're just going to do a little grounding and running energy, which is, as you may or may not know, the foundation of really everything in the spiritual realms that I practice and that I teach. And so, go ahead if you will. If you're driving and listening to this, don't close your eyes. If you're needing to pay attention to a puppy or a child, don't close your eyes. But everyone else, I invite you to close your eyes and give yourself a breath. And just putting your awareness into the first chakra, that base of your spine area, just for this moment, giving yourself a breath and noticing the difference in quality between taking a breath and giving yourself a breath, and feeling your breath just flowing up and down your spine and out your crown. And then noticing, if you will, the rise and fall of your pelvic area of the belly. You can, even if it feels good, place your hands over the belly, over the sacral. That's just above the root and just below the belly button. That sacral area, that is our female creative matrix. That is our creativity. And breathe. You can even give yourself an audible sigh. When we sigh out loud, it is scientifically proven to release stress and to drop us further deeper into this moment. And then imagining, if you will, at the base of your spine, at that first chakra, a disc of white light. And that white light getting to expand out to the width of your hips. No effort involved, just as I mentioned it, it naturally occurs. And from that expansion at the width of your hips is a conduit, like a nice, huge, beautiful, ancient, strong, powerful, expansive sequoia tree. And this sequoia tree goes all the way down. It roots down into the core of Mama Earth, wraps around the core, and you can give it a tug and you can make sure that it's secure. And anything, thoughts, fears, emotions, concerns about the perceived past, the perceived future, you can sigh out loud down that sequoia grounding. And let's do it together. Anything residual, keeping in mind that anything that is truly yours cannot be gotten rid of. You can also just give it to Mother Earth. And imagining, if you will, at the base of your feet, blossoms opening up and receiving in rich earth energy, whatever earth energy looks like to you, and earth energy getting to flow up the base of your feet, ankles, shins and calves, knees and thighs into your first chakra. Deep breath. Deepest breath you've given yourself all day, even deeper. See if you can feel that breath into the back of your lower back. Good. And imagining, if you will, beautiful, vast, cosmic energy, magical cosmic energy getting to flow down your crown, that top of your head, down your third eye, behind your third eye, down your throat, and into four channels, two on either side of your spine. Just as I say it, it naturally occurs. And that gorgeous cosmic magical energy flows all the way into that first chakra. And deep breath. Good. Here you are, an 85% cosmic energy getting to mix in that first chakra with that 15% denser earth energy, and earth and cosmic energy mixtures flowing up the front channels of your root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and out your crown. As it fountains out your crown as high as you like it, you can even see it go out the ceiling if you're inside, as big and high as you want it to be, and it flows over the 9 layers of your energetic field, all the way down around your body, gently tucking under your feet, so you are entirely encompassed in this golden, validating energy. Deep breath. Good, here you are. Imagining, if you will, a few feet above your head, a huge golden validating sun, as big as you want it to be, as expansive as you want it to be. And it says your energy signature, your name inside of it. You can see that. And any of your energy that you may have left, your highest and best, your knowing, your power, your wholeness, your mastership, you may have left last night, a week ago, a year ago, lifetimes ago. As we know, energy cannot be destroyed. So your energy has always existed, it always will. And if there's any of that mastership, that power, that knowing that you left in another lifetime, you want to call it back, it's safe to call it back. Just a decision, no effort involved. You can see it come back. You can feel it come back, and you can raise your arms, or you can just imagine whatever feels good, poking that golden validating sun energy, your power, your knowing, your mastership. And then slowly you can bring your arms down and just imagine that gorgeous golden whole energy, that power, that knowing, that mastership filling into each cell of your body. And as each cell touches another cell, it turns to gold. So you're entirely filled in with this golden validating energy. Deep breath. Placing a hand, if you will, on your heart space, another hand just below on your solar plexus, giving yourself a rebellious smile for no reason at all, and just imagine finishing listening to this podcast episode and going, oh, that was exactly what I was wanting. What would that feel like? Would you just feel so inspired? Would you feel so seen, so grounded, so excited, so curious, so whole, so clear? Whatever you're wanting, just know you wouldn't want this if you didn't already know it. And if you didn't already have access to it, and on so many levels, it's already done. So you can just enjoy the unfolding. And deep breath. So I'm so excited to be here with you. It feels really special. It is really special to circle with these women together again. So at our first and second degree Reiki certification retreat, Dana gave us a sound bath, and as always, it was just phenomenal and just gorgeous. And it was so perfectly aligned with each of our chakra teachings that we went through, and really about the vibration that we were in as we were sloughing off what was no longer serving us, as we were stepping into the light, as we were stepping into the Reiki lineage, as we were honoring Dr. Usui and Chiro Hayashi and Hawayo Takada, and having these incredible attunements, which are such an honor that a Reiki master gets to pass on to their students. So that's how I was, quotes, initiated, and that's how Dana and Tange and Sierra were initiated during our Reiki retreat, is they had these attunements. I love to talk about what for me was the most special and most core and sacred piece of Reiki first degree and second degree are these attunements, and that's what sets it aside and makes it so unique. And yes, we can learn Reiki and we all have Reiki, but what really is the discernment piece is having that attunement from a Reiki master in the lineage. Sierra, I'd love to hear about your calling to the attunements and then what that ended up being for you.
I feel like we really created a little family at your retreat just between all of us. Every time we get back together, it just feels like giddy magic. What called me to the attunements, I remember when I was a teenager, if a friend was feeling hurt or had a headache or something, I just automatically wanted to put my hands on them and like I knew what I was doing to alleviate their pain in that moment. I was like, it needs to happen now type of moment where I didn't have to think about it. And then fast forward like 20 years, my father-in-law was like, you should look into Reiki, Sierra, getting certified. And I was like, oh, there's another little nod. And I had kind of thought about it here and there. And then after I had my first daughter, a girlfriend of mine had graduated from light touch chiropractic school and she would do the light touch on her baby. And I just thought that was so special. And it made me think like, oh, I want to be able to have some sort of healing modality that I can give to my baby too.
Yeah.
I want to seek this out. I went and got level one certified, and it was amazing. It was a beautiful experience and journey, but I did leave with more questions than answers, and I didn't feel confident with what I came away with. And I always just felt like, am I doing this right? And I kind of just let it go. And then we met and we have so many things in common. And I trust you wholly, and I've followed you and all that you are doing, and you've supported me too. I was like, this is a woman that I want to learn Reiki from. I trust you. So we talked about it. I want to go to the next level and do level two. And then you finally put together this retreat, and I was like, I'm doing it. And you got all these other amazing women to join. And here we are. The attunement specifically, I really love that you had us draw our experience after each attunement. That really solidified the experience in my own body for me. And each one was very unique and different. And I think that the most impactful one was the second attunement, where I just had this feeling of being de-armored and this armor
Yeah.
falling off of me,
Yeah.
and that I was breaking free of some sort of protective shield. So that was really moving and powerful for me.
Same with my first attunements was the de-armoring. I love that. And so beautiful. I'm so honored that I got to pass this lineage on to you, Sierra, because you're such a special being of light and love, and your book is all about cosmic love. And I think it's just a perfect coupling that your mission, one of your many missions in the world, I mean, being a mother and an artist, a floral artist, but also with your book and that mission of cosmic love and calling in your cosmic love partner is just so perfect with the unconditional love of the Reiki. It's like, of course, she was gonna bring these two worlds together. And maybe your next book, whatever that is, if you, because I imagine, I
Oh,
know
it's
what you're
already
like.
in the pipeline.
I know what you're like. Will have this infusement of the Reiki energy as part of it, I imagine. That's just a thought.
I love that you said that because I started writing my second book and then hit a place where I was like, this doesn't feel like the right timing.
Mm. Oh,
And
because maybe you're having a baby and you have a toddler and
part of it, but also it's interesting to hear your perspective because not only does this other baby need to come into the world first before I can write the book, but also this other entity of Reiki needed to come in too. So, yeah.
it's so powerful. We did these chair attunements and you guys got to match up with each other and practice on each other. I want to give Dana a chance to share how was your journey getting to Reiki, getting to your attunement? What was the attunement like for you? Obviously, Sierra was talking about the coloring and drawing of her experience because it's hard to put words to it because it is
Mhm.
more than words.
Yeah, similar to Sierra, the drawing, that was so brilliant. It really did solidify because it was hard to put into words and it was so fun. And we were in that creative space. And to keep us silent and in that feeling was really powerful too. What drew me though was similar when I was drawn to sound healing, it was very gentle and also very obvious because I went to a sound bath and I was really hit over the head with, whoa, what is this? I need this. I thought I was meditating, but whoa, this is next level. I was like hustle, type A, forceful, masculine. That gave me an opportunity to just receive and be in my being state. And then when I had the experience of realizing that these people were living in a house that my husband and I had lived in, and they were offering a sound healing. That was just another breadcrumb from the universe. Keep going, keep going. This is for you. I realized I was in this channel, this receiving mode, and this being. I've been offering hands-on tuning, and I will receive colors and messages and I've started sharing that with people, and I just really didn't know what that was. And it was kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I don't know if this is appropriate. I don't know what this is. Does this make sense? And I'd received Reiki in your breathwork sessions and understanding it is very real and feeling that feeling of it being very real and then also receiving Reiki from other practitioners and just the nudges and the synchronicities and the breadcrumbs from the universe really led me to it. And that feeling of, yes, you're on the right track, keep going, and not overthinking, because that had been my tendency
Mm.
until I found sound healing and found what it feels like to receive and to be and not overthink. So
Yeah.
it was get out of thinking, get more into feeling and follow those feelings.
I love that.
The first or the second attunement, I had this very, very visceral visual of my lineage, past and present. Oh, chills with me and hands on me. And just like it was always you. And not that I was
Yes, yes.
better or more than anyone in my lineage, but just that it was always me to live this life and do these things and pride, and that I was always meant to follow these breadcrumbs. I was meant to sit in this chair and be in this moment. And have this
Yeah.
attunement from Siri and be exactly where I am.
Yeah.
It was this powerful validation of like, yes, this is this moment was always meant to happen from thousands of years behind me and thousands of years ahead of me. It was just, yeah, we were in this like room that was not so big, but it was like filled with my
This room, if you
lineage.
guys are watching on
This
YouTube,
room.
you can see a piece of the room.
Yeah.
This was the room. I'll turn it around so you guys can see where you had your attunements, where you practiced your table treatments. We are here.
Yes, that room. It was just filled with my lineage, ancestors past, present, and future. And it was all there, like an army of souls there supporting me and just like, yes, this is it. And I need to go back into my folder and my drawings to see because I drew that just like, yes, like everybody was there.
I think that it's so beautiful that we're touching our memory of what it was today because when we have these magical kind of otherworldly experiences, it's really easy to just go back into life and like, oh yeah, what was that? And then here we get to remind each other of, oh yeah, that was what it was. And I got head chills. I think you guys probably did too, hearing parts of your experience. Ah, it's so good.
Dang, Dana. I'm like, wow. It just resonates so deeply. What kept popping into my head as I'm listening to them is how this retreat itself, it was 3 days, but it felt like we had been together for weeks
Mm.
in such a beautiful way. Like, this is how we live. Like, it's almost like I'm looking out to everyone. Well, yes, this is how we live. First of all, Siri, you and I have known each other since
Lifetimes. I
life,
mean, Eagle Peak, whatever.
Eagle Peak. When we say that we both met through the Buddhist organization where we both practiced as youth division. There were no kids, there were no husbands.
It's a
Jake
different
was in
time.
the picture, and I had always known your history. One of the coolest things just meeting Siri was like, yeah, Siri grew up in an ashram. And it was just sort of like, wow. And here's this creative woman we met in an industry, you're an actress and all that. And I have always known through kids, through I've always known that this was something that you did. But Reiki it wasn't anything that felt immediate to me at that time. Like Sierra, as a child, I felt this feeling of overwhelming love for people that I didn't know.
Mm.
And I just wanted to give it to them at a young age. I knew that it was magical, mystic, whatever, but I couldn't put words to it. It came out in ways that then didn't serve me, like not having boundaries where I was then taken advantage of. I was always the kid
Yes.
who was so involved in everybody else's
Yes.
problems and traumas, but more than they were willing to fight for
Mm-hmm.
themselves. And then I'm the one that ends up
Mm-hmm.
getting hurt or
Mm-hmm.
in trouble when I should have minded my own business. But I wanted to give this love. Okay.
We're all nodding.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, hello. As I became an artist, the theater, and then becoming a comedian, I would always have this vision of when I'm on stage that I'm sending this light and I'm
Yeah.
sending this love to
Yeah.
people through the commonality of the humor in all of our experiences and traumas and all of that. And
Yeah. I love it.
as I started to do that, my world started to come undone. I think 6 months before I thought of doing the Reiki retreat, I was on a reset path.
Yeah.
My nervous system, just
Mm.
dealing with life and who I am as a Black woman, us as human beings, us as Americans living in this, and our own family, dealing with mental health illness and dealing with all the things.
Mhm.
I
Being a
always,
mom,
right,
being in Hollywood. Yeah,
being
yeah.
in Hollywood. And I have always been one who is like, I will muscle through, just like these women right here. I will muscle through and push through, and you give everything, and you just think the well is endless.
Mhm.
And my nervous system got to a point where it was so fried that
Mhm.
I couldn't turn it off.
Mhm.
And I was having to, like, I would stop at my, we're being real about all the things. I stop at my favorite liquor store every day. And they knew me there, and they were super sweet and awesome. And I would get one shot of tequila and a little small bottle of sake because that was my thing. And I would sit in my car before going inside my house just to quiet everything for like a minute.
Mhm.
But it would only last for a minute.
Yeah.
And so this cycle just kept going, and I have a lot of tools. Walking was like my jam, and chanting and journaling, and
Mhm.
but when you get to a space where then you can't even utilize the tools,
Right.
I
I hear
searched.
that.
You know what I mean?
I hear that.
For I searched for a reset, for some healing, for something, and my therapist, who's our family therapist, suggested ketamine therapy. And I know a lot of people are like, "What?" And I was like, "Huh?" Like, I was like, "Okay, let's talk about it. What is it?"
Mhm.
So I did a 6-week guided ketamine
Mhm.
therapy,
Mhm.
and it was the reset that I needed to continue to acquire the tools and use the tools. It reset me so that my nervous system was not getting in the way, and then I could really create these new neural paths.
Mhm.
So when I finished that, I was sitting in a bath because I was taking baths every day. I was sitting in a bath,
Nice.
and I was looking at my emails, and I saw the Sage Blush email from Siri about this retreat, and it was like a light switch. I I knew that that was the next step.
Mhm.
I wanted to continue the healing for myself. I wanted to be part of active healing for my family.
Mm.
It just clicked. And I remember I texted Siri right then and there, and I was like, I'm coming. I don't know how I'm coming, but I'm coming. And then me being on stage and wanting this energy to go, it started to make sense of that's what it is. It's life force. That's what it is.
Mm. Yes. Yes.
And I was like, come hell or high water, I'm going to do this retreat. And so leading up to the retreat, it was like a month leading up to the retreat, Siri had suggested some sort of cleansing, and it could be to whatever level.
Mhm.
It could just be giving up caffeine or
Mhm.
something to help you just sort of get in alignment. And I was so deep into, I was listening to my body, and I started letting go of things that didn't serve me. When I did the reset with the ketamine, the alcohol was the first to go, and I didn't want it
Yeah.
anymore. And I was like,
Yeah.
great. And then before going to the retreat, I did a 10-day water fast,
Mhm.
which people were like, wait a minute. But I really wasn't telling people because it doesn't, it was my own journey.
Yeah.
And a week before our retreat, I had the opportunity to drive from California, where I am, to Oregon to visit my friend. She's an Ayurvedic practitioner who was working on a farm, learning how to grow these herbs. And right away, I was like, I'm going to do a road trip by myself, 12 hours
Yeah, it's huge.
to this place. I did it, and I was like having a party with myself. And I had so much fun with me.
I love it.
And I was like, wow, I'm so listening to all the 90s hits that I grew up with.
Yes.
Had this incredible 2 days, almost 3 with my friend that also felt like a week. Stayed in a dome on the top of the Hills Are Alive scene and like really getting in touch with nature. And then I knew that the following week I was going to come back
Yeah.
to this. So it set me up for, I literally felt led and I was just going with it on this journey of healing. And so when we got together, it was incredible. I saw Dana first at the airport. I didn't know what she looked like, but I knew that was her. It was crazy. And we both were like, it's you. Okay.
I'm over here just waterworks because I had no idea you were so fresh from sobriety from alcohol.
Oh,
Um,
girl.
and I'm sitting here realizing I'm 4 days from celebrating 8 years sober from alcohol. Alcohol doesn't take up any space in my life and my brain anymore. And it's the least interesting part of my life. And also the most impactful decision I've ever made. And just like you said, Tange, I could hear myself. And then I liked myself enough to continue to make choices to better myself. And that was the beginning of my journey to better myself and to heal and to see the breadcrumbs that the universe was leaving for me to follow and have all these beautiful synchronicities that led me to the day where I was sitting in the attunement and having that experience with all of you. And so I just have been sitting here hearing this journey. When I saw you in the airport, I had no idea you were so.
But it was meant to happen. Like that's the thing. The group of women, I was meant to have this interaction with you at the retreat because it's almost like you were at a different phase of where I was, and then Ellen, there's another, her ex-husband is suffering from similar mental health illness as my husband, but they divorced over it. You know what I mean? And so me then coming to a place of gratitude because my husband is a freaking warrior who's always seeking in the same way that I am.
Yeah.
And so being able to encourage each other in that way, all the synchronicities, all of it. And Dana, listening to you with the sound healing, I'm obsessed. Like I'm on a mission to learn myself. I have significant hearing loss. And then my one hearing aid, I usually wear two, and the one that I had stopped working right before. Mind blowing because I felt and I heard everything that I needed to. And then you with the sound baths, I'm now obsessed with sound healing because
Mm.
of that experience. So the
Yeah.
attunement, oh my goodness. I needed this reminder.
Yeah, to remind you, to remind us, for the listeners to know what that is. What
Yeah,
is this attunement? What was it for you?
there
We
were
did
several,
a
and
lot of them.
whew, they were all so incredibly powerful. But I felt this very strong connection to my dad,
Yes, that's right. Yes.
who he passed away when I was 19, and he was like my best friend. And I feel like all of the good that I see in myself came from him. At the beginning of my reset, I was really searching for a connection with him that would almost give me the answer to all of these questions that I've had. And what ended up happening was a deepening of a connection that allowed me to really see him, not just as a human being, but to also put myself in a space where I could actually see that maybe I'm taking the baton and actually going further, as opposed to I want to live up to this man that I put on this pedestal. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you're already there. When Dana said, no, it was always you,
Yeah.
it was that type of healing and empowerment. Like I felt him saying, no, this is exactly where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. And it felt like I was healing for all of us,
Hmm.
for myself, for my dad,
Hmm.
for my dad's dad. You
Hmm.
know, in Buddhism, we talk about 7 generations back, 7 generations forward. And I feel like in that first attunement, I felt that. And it blew my mind that it was coming through Siri. There was a moment where I was so in awe. And during this attunement, not even seeing Siri as like Siri, like Muhammad.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I'm just the conduit for your process. Yeah.
It was such an incredible moment for me to be in and for it to come through me and connect to what was coming through you.
Do
It,
you remember any of your drawings, what those felt like or looked like to you?
yeah,
I hope you guys will put them somewhere, maybe where you, or your favorite one, somewhere where you can see it.
we need to frame it.
Yeah.
I know that there was one where I felt the support of my dad. There was this color, the purple, this very regal purple just kept flowing through me. It felt like such a release, but on a deeper level, not just tears, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. It's
Um,
incredible.
it was really, yeah.
I'm so deeply honored to get to hear these reflections, and I'm grateful for the people listening to get to hear these reflections from each of you because there's nothing like being able to understand it from the students of it. That's really the powerful place. It's simultaneously reminding us of where we're at in our journeys, each of us, but also giving the gift of passing it on so that the listener can find their next step, whether it's with me or another Reiki practitioner, another Reiki master, if they just haven't had a Reiki experience yet and they're near one of you, they can go and try it out and see what that is for them. Have a little chair treatment or have a 60-minute table treatment and just experience that. So, Sierra, I'm curious. We have a text message chain that we started called the Purple Fluffle, and we were spoken to during this certification retreat through animals quite often. We had this mama and baby deer in the final moments of arriving to my house. We picked everyone up from the airport, and then these deer led us the final few moments to the house. And then we saw bunnies on the lawn. We saw bunnies on the back lawn. We saw rainbows. Everyone was sending me pictures of rainbows as you were landing. So we were very much spoken to in these symbolic ways. So we started this Purple Fluffle text chain, and through the text chain, we've shared so many wins and questions and answers and realizations. And I know, Sierra, you shared several things about your journey thus far. So I'm curious, now that you're a second degree Reiki practitioner, how is that integrating for you? What you're realizing through the work of your hands, through the work of, because obviously you can do it long distance. What's the power of that?
I'm pregnant, and this happened with my first pregnancy, and now my second. Whenever I floss, my gums bleed, and it's just a common side effect of the hormones. And when we did the retreat, and one of the positions that we hold the Reiki is right here on the jaw, I wasn't thinking anything of it, but the bleeding went away.
Hmm.
And I was that was like my first miracle, right?
That's what I was just thinking, the miracles.
And then when I came home and I got so busy, I wasn't able to keep practicing on myself. It came back a little bit. And then I was like, oh, I got to do my Reiki. And then it went away. And so it was this clear difference between when I would do Reiki on myself and then my body reacting positively to that. So that stands out as being the first thing that I was like, whoa. I just love the feeling of knowing that at any moment, wherever I am, I can summon this healing, unconditional energy of love and emanate it out to the field around me, whether that's a space around me or we were in Hawaii, we were on Turtle Beach and they were coming up to eat seaweed, and I would just put the symbols over the turtles and send the turtles Reiki. I just love it. It's one more way that I feel like I can impact the world around me in a loving, positive way and in a moment.
It's so much about not efforting. It's so much about us unlearning all of our conditioning. And everything that we've learned is about performance. You're a performer. You've always been a performer. And so, as performers, we are very much outcome oriented. Whereas with Reiki, it's process oriented and it's all about the letting go and the unfolding and the surrender and doing literally almost nothing.
And the trust that that's enough.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a lifetime of practice. And that's why we call it a practice, because every time we do it, we get to trust more. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is what it feels like, that this is enough to just let go and let God, let go and let universe, let go and let the Reiki lineage, let go and let the symbols. We have the symbols and mantras so that we have something to more just to give our mind to focus on so that we can just be the love. And you're so already that. You are just the love without needing to do or try or be this glorious magnet. It's already, that's what it is. And I feel like so much of our process with the Reiki that we're talking about is this unlearning of the efforting and the unlearning of the walls and the unlearning of the trying to do it right and all of that.
Yeah.
Certainly, as a perfectionist myself, that is my process, is the unlearning.
And what you just said makes me think about some of the teachings that I have in my book, which doesn't talk about it being Reiki, but just the process of becoming a more loving human being can be as simple as just honoring the beauty of a flower on a walk
Yeah.
or appreciating the trees
Hmm.
or even just listening to the birds and acknowledging them. It doesn't have to be this great act of like, here, let me save the world, but
Yeah.
it can be like, let me hold the door open for the next person. Let me
Yes.
choose to use a reusable water bottle instead of a plastic one. These little micro causes that we can make that are less effortful, you could say, but that still make a big impact.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like as mothers and entrepreneurs, that the most we can do, as they say, it's like the macrocosm is coming into the microcosm, is what you're just talking about. Is like, can I just be present?
Mm.
Because so much of what you teach and what you've taught me, Sierra, is how to be present with nature, with our children, and that's to slow down. I feel like that's so much of what you do is, and same with Dana, the slowing down. So Dana, will you share with us about your integration of your Reiki process and an experience of how it's starting to show you proof?
I just offered a sound bath, and my default state is rush, hustle, hustle in my masculine force, make it happen, perform. I love offering sound healing because it forces me to
Yeah,
go slow
yeah,
and receive. And same with Reiki, it forces me to go slow and receive. And same with how I coach. I'm not giving advice, I'm asking questions and listening. It's becoming more and more clear that my soul's purpose in this lifetime is to slow down and
Yeah.
receive
Yeah.
based on the synchronicities and the breadcrumbs that keep leading me to these beautiful modalities to slow down and receive.
I love that
My,
you said listening.
yes,
That's such a key word because that's what we've been learning to do is
yes,
listen with our hands and our
yes,
hearts.
yeah,
Sierra's raising her hand. You
yeah,
can just speak.
yeah.
I love you.
Well, like good student. I just wanted to ask you, Dana, that realization of my life's mission is to slow down and receive.
Hmm.
Do you feel like that's unique to you, or that that's like what's being called for women in the collective?
Ooh, that is so good. And I just got like chills in the back of my neck. I can have an opinion, but I don't know that I have the answer. I think we can all witness that we as humans love to take things a little too far. We get our hands on something and we really do love to take things far. Dr. Casey Mean spoke, and she made such a good point that everything that procreates has a season of rest. And in the last 3 generations, women have decided we don't need one. We don't
Mm,
need to rest. And then look at the state of the world. So I do think there is truth to that. I do think that women could benefit from adding a season, adding slowness, resting. And actually, at one of your retreats, Siri, Megan Greer blew my mind with this observation when we were doing a journaling exercise and we took ourselves back to 10 years. And I was about 3 months away from giving birth to my daughter. And Megan asked the question, well, what were you doing to prepare? Were you watching YouTube videos and thinking about how to grow an ear? And were you thinking your way through and like trying to figure it all out and trying to figure out how to grow this baby? No, I was taking naps and getting foot rubs and drinking tea. My body knew exactly what to do.
mhm,
Same with figuring out how to build this life. I needed to lean into the knowing and trusting that
mhm,
it's all going to unfold. And if I allow it instead of forcing and forcing and think about it and research and blah, 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 it's all going to unfold as it is anyway, whether I force and force and force not. And if I'm too tired to see the synchronicities, I might not see it and
mhm.
miss it. I think it is something for me to learn. And I do think it's something for the collective to learn as women. I think that we've all been trying to keep up with men, and we are very different. We've always been very different than men, and we've known this, and we've built our lives around trying to be like men. And I think we can come to the conclusion that we're not. We're not. we're not. We're not men with different anatomy. We're not. And we can celebrate that and take a nap and move
Yeah.
slower
And give ourselves Reiki during our
and give
nap
ourselves Reiki during our nap.
and so the self Reiki, because we're talking about taking a nap and slowing down, we've got self Reiki, we've got chair treatments, we've got table treatments.
I've been giving Reiki to my kids, and my kids have been asking for it at bedtime.
Yeah,
Or my
bless.
son, yeah, my son will have a headache and he's like, can you do that 5 minute Reiki thing when your hands get really warm
Oh my God.
and put them on my head, please? And that's been really, really neat to have my kids asking for that and feeling the relief. I feel they're so open. That's been just really, really neat to share with my kids.
I love that they're asking you for that and then you're
Hmm.
able to provide that.
Hmm.
That exchange right there, I feel like is everything.
Hmm.
For them to be able to say, I'd like some unconditional love and attention, and for you to be able to say, here you go. And not only does this feel good to give this to you and fulfill this for you, but I get to, as a mom and a woman, I get to receive unconditional love, life force energy while I'm nurturing you. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
My son's also, he always asks make sure I put a bubble of protection around our house. He's like, "Did you lock the door and did you protect our house?"
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so the reason Dana's talking about that is because one of the practices we do is we learn spiritual tools to protect ourselves. And we're just conscious about how and when we use our energy because, as a conduit for universal life energy, for unconditional love, it's really easy, as we've been talking about, as empaths, to be super compassionate. And as you said, Dana, to take it too far and to just give, 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 give. And that's the beauty of Reiki is we have these ways of protecting ourselves and grounding and clearing after we finish, but we also know that when we're giving Reiki that we're receiving it too. And I think for me that's one of the few things in life. There's very, very few things that I could think of. There's a very short list. I don't know what that list is even of things that simultaneously give to us while we're giving. I think that is really special about Reiki. And so, Tangi, for you, it's like, I want the proof. Let's see it. How is this real?
I work with families of transracial adoption. I started this business, I'm in the process of building it, where I work with non-Black parents who have adopted African American children. And because I used to nanny and all of that, and then the tools that I was giving the family, I'm like, well, what if it's not about me coming in and raising your child? What if I can empower you with knowledge and understanding, helping you to create an environment so your child could see themselves. And from that, a lot of stuff has come out of it, the parents feeling guilt for not being Black and where that comes from. I go in and basic things, hair care and skincare, all of that, but then also just on a deeper level, helping families at the end of it create their own family culture as well. There are a lot of challenges with just adoption, period. And for the kids, a lot of their nervous systems are running on high from the adoption part and then being in an environment where they're not sure about who they are and the parents trying to be grounded enough to be a safe space, but also celebrate who they are. And so a family that I primarily work with, their son, he's 7. I've known them since he was born. And he is an incredible child who has had a lot of challenges with regulation. But then his mom, she has her own regulation issues. And,
Mm-hmm.
she's in the industry. That's a whole nother thing. It's a bubble. And he really would lash out at his mom. There became a space where he genuinely felt that the strongest connection that he and his mother had to do with friction and
Yep.
had to do with the yelling back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So every day at the same time, we call it the witching hour,
Mm-hmm.
he would then start trying to kind of pick a fight. But
Yep.
meanwhile, she has been running on anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and you could feel her come into the room with it because she's anticipating all of
Yes.
she hasn't unpacked her stuff.
Yes.
And so this has been like a storm that has just been a brewing for
Mm-hmm.
years
Mm-hmm.
since the beginning. And she started medicating him, which she knows that I know that medication works as a bridge
Mm-hmm.
when you're utilizing certain tools. If you're not utilizing the tools, the medication won't work. And
Mm-hmm.
so it got to a point where she started giving him more
Mm.
and it
Yeah.
made things worse, but
Sure.
she kept feeling like it's making okay.
Yep.
So it got to a point, and she knew that I'm not completely on board with how she's doing it, but she's really genuinely trying to do the best she can with what she has. So I offered Reiki
Mm-hmm.
and I started doing Reiki on her son.
Yeah.
And now he asks for it. If I'm going to be there at bedtime, I'll do it. He asks for
Mm-hmm.
it. And now she started to taper off a little bit on the medication.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm determined to do Reiki on her. I haven't
Good.
Yet, but I believe that like I'm seeing this regulation happen, and I'm seeing him start to feel himself that he's capable of regulating himself,
Yeah.
which he didn't have that because no one told him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing it there. And with that, one of my determinations with Reiki is to be able to help heal the Black community on a deep DNA level. Like, we need healing, but yet we're told that we're supposed to get healing from lineage of the ones who caused a lot of the trauma. And so for a lot of Black people, it's hard for them to be like, oh, I'm going to go to therapy. But
Mm-hmm.
my therapist is white.
Mm-hmm.
And it has nothing to do with like, I don't like, it's a visceral on a DNA level
Sure.
response. And so I've broken through a lot of that, but I also want to be able to be a safe space where I can introduce these modalities into that
Mm-hmm.
community.
You've been a bridge for so much of your life, and this is a continuation of you being that bridge. Yeah.
It's totally a continuation. And then the biggest example I'm having right now is a dear friend of ours. Her mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer
Mm-hmm.
5 months ago. And when I came back with Reiki, she was very open to receiving treatment. She didn't want to do chemo
Mm-hmm.
because of her history. She had already had a double mastectomy 5
Mm-hmm.
years ago. The DNA, her family history, she knew as a woman, there were certain things that I couldn't be mad at because she was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not going to do this to my body.
Yeah.
And I started doing Reiki on her, but I started doing Reiki on her with the anticipation and the determination that I was going to heal her. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
I'm gonna heal her, and we are going to be an example of how Reiki can, because
Mm,
I read the
the before
studies,
and after.
right? I have read the reports. I have seen the magic happen. I've read it. I've seen it. So I'm like, Tangie, you could do this. Is your moment, girl. You can do it. I'm just like, talk about hit the ground running. I'm like, okay, we're gonna start with pancreatic cancer. Okay. And so I would go and I would do these treatments with her. First, we did the chair, and she cried. And I remember she told
Mm,
me that she was tired. And then she started telling me these stories about her life
mhm,
and how much she's lived a rough life, but she raised some incredible kids. And then I went back and I would see her getting weaker, weaker, and she's losing
mm,
weight.
mm.
And I would go back like, okay, what else can I do? Because this Reiki, I need you to work, Reiki. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what Dana said, I started to then go into my head the strategy of
Sure.
Reiki
Yep.
with Reiki.
Yep.
That don't work. And so I had to
Yep.
get back, do Reiki on myself.
Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
was the part that I was like not as consistent. I was like, do Reiki on yourself
Yes.
so that you can be open to receive the healing. Her name's Sylvia. She has now progressed to a space where they just set up hospice for her.
Hmm.
And when I tell you, if you can, the news of that, I'm trying to word it properly. There was peace in that,
Hmm.
and there was
Hmm.
joy in
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
I call her my sister mama because our daughters are best friends. We carpool, we do all the things. And she has been expressing herself in a way that I haven't ever seen. She's expressing that her mom and her and her brothers are having these joyful moments. They're laughing, and her mom isn't afraid. She's at peace, and she's like, I live such a great life, and I've done all these things, and I'm continuing to do Reiki on her. I'm going to see her on Monday. And it's become then, I get it now. It's not about my own strategy, it's about
Hmm.
being that conduit
Mm.
to allow what is supposed to happen, but in the
Yes.
most highest
Yes.
form ever,
Yeah.
the most highest form ever. And then I realized as I'm talking to my friend Christina, her daughter, I'm beginning to share with her things that I hadn't shared with her about what it was like to be a caregiver for my dad at 19. I went through
Mm.
exactly this.
Mm.
I went through this.
Mm.
And then being able to tap into the joy and the funny jokes and the moments and
Mm.
hold on to that. And so the more I would tap into that and the more Reiki I would do, I'm like, wow. So it went from me being kind of crushed. I couldn't do that
Sure.
panel because I texted Siri that like she took a turn for the worse and I was
Yeah.
on my way to the hospital.
Yeah.
And that's why I couldn't do that. And then Siri sent me reminders. And then once I was able to kind of do Reiki on myself and come back, I was like, wow. And then I actually listened. I was able to listen to what her mother was saying. And I was like, why am I mourning? That is not what her mom is speaking right now. She's speaking peace and love and joy and excitement and gratefulness.
Mm.
And so now my friend Christina, she's like, I'm just so grateful that it's only 5 months and the suffering. She's like, the suffering is gone. I know it's going to be hard, but we don't have to suffer. So I'm doing Reiki on Christina so that she can continue. So there's integration for you.
Yeah, it's not really surprising that you would dive into the deep end straight away. And the reason that I did this for the first time, where I combined first and second degree Reiki together into one immersion, is because I knew that the people that were being called to it in this moment in time were already there. And
Mm,
that's the thing with what we're talking about with Sierra, with the trust and the micro moments and the presence. And then with Dana, the kids, they're just ready. They're just like, yeah, I want this. When I was a teenager and my mom was giving me Reiki, I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, yes, please. But the kids at their age, they're so open and ready. And then someone who's in that phase, I love how you went through that whole journey and you've humbled yourself in this story of like, oh, ego was like, no, because I need you. I need you to be well. And then soul was like, oh, I can hear you. And you're actually speaking joy and peace and love. And just honoring that. That is the deepest love you could ever experience. That you're being with her in that. And so many of us have people that are passing in our lives. Not one of us here or that's listening. Everyone has someone that's passing. And so if we can be in the unconditional love and be in the listening, and the Reiki is just an access point to that presence and that letting go, then we can have these experiences where our children are nurtured, where our communities that have had so much trauma are nurtured, where our unborn child is nurtured, where we as women, mothers, entrepreneurs, performers, comedians, sound healers, florists, authors, all the hats we wear, all the thousands of things we do, that we get to nurture ourselves, and that's enough. And then we get to nurture others through this PowerPoint, our symbols, our mantras, the lineage. We're not in this alone. We have the lineage of Reiki masters at our back. We have the symbols at our back. We have the universal life force energy coming through our crown. It's not on us. It's just stepping out of the way. And like you said, Dana, every time I practice, I get to learn how to be present, how to slow down, how to let go, because my default is the same as what you're talking about. It's the masculine, it's the doing. And in getting to be honored to like answer the call of whatever students come to me, I get to learn it again with you. So thank you, each of you, for opening your heart and being on the path, the healing path. And it's never done. And so we're just like, hey, here's a moment in time where we're all just like figuring it out as we go. And it's perfect. So thank
Thank
you
you.
guys for taking your precious time out of your busy, busy lives to share about your Reiki experiences. And I truly believe that whoever is meant to listen to this will have that next breadcrumb be shown to them and that they'll be able to listen to it and pay attention. Sierra, do you want to say where you are and Tange and Dana so that if someone wants to experience Reiki, they can come find you or how to find you?
Sure. I'm in the Agora Hills area of California, northwest of Los Angeles, close to Malibu. That's great. Thank you for mentioning my book earlier. If anybody is curious, it's called How to Attract Your Cosmic Love Partner. It's a guided workbook to help you become the most loving version of yourself with the intention of attracting a loving partner to you.
So they can get that on Amazon.
You can get in touch with me there is the Planet Love Times. Because
Great. Dana, where would you like people to find you?
I am in the San Luis Obispo, California area, halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco. I offer a Reiki and hands-on tuning and sound healing in a teepee on my property here in San Luis Obispo. I also offer coaching woven together with sound healing and Reiki with my practice called Sound Mind. You may find me online at danaschmidt.com. I do not have a D in my last name. Underscore Dana Schmidt is my Instagram handle.
Perfect. I'll put that
Thank
in the
you.
show notes. And Tangi.
I am in West Hollywood, California. I'd love to get my hands on you. Have an Instagram for auntie underscore family culture coach. Or you could find me at my friends call me Tange, Tange. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
guys
much.
so much.
Thank
It
you.
was such a pleasure to drop into our space together. There were other students in our class. I just had a few of us to represent. If you're interested in Reiki long distance as well, and any of these women are wanting to practice long distance, that's also an option. You don't have to be near them. Of course, you can get in touch with me, sageandblushwellness.com. Trust your intuition of who feels right for you, regardless of whether it's us or someone else. Just trust yourself. Trust that you're going to be led to the right person and trust your knowing. So keep expanding your capacity to feel good one breath at a time. Loving you. And thank you guys for coming along for the journey. We will see you soon. Bye.
Hi, everyone.